Today we're going to talk about something that I deal with that I'm sure a lot of other people deal with as well, which is being a slow reader. Welcome back to Mostly Vanity. What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Mostly Vanity. My name's Kennedy. I'm so excited to be here with you today. This is my show where I talk about books and story and whatever else I want to talk about because, well, it's mostly vanity. Thank you so much for joining me. As I say every time, I'm always blessed to have you guys watching my videos. So, I want to talk about something I deal with and something I've learned more about myself as I've gotten back into reading these last couple years. And that's I am a slow reader. And I didn't think I was. Which is an interesting thing to learn in your 20s. So when I was a kid, I was a really fast reader. Like I loved reading, and I was very particular about what I read. But I was really, really fast reader. I could burn through a book, and I always wondered why that was, and then why when I came back to reading, that it was so hard. And now I realize it's because as I'm reading as an older person or like, a more mature person, I'm actually reading every word that's on the page. And I did not really realize at the time, but I was a major skimmer. I still am in some ways. Now, to be clear, when it comes to like reading fiction, I do not skim. That's why I'm a slow reader. But I have to. I work in the tech field, so I have to read a lot of technical documents, and so a lot of times I'm just kind of scanning to get what I need to get, right? And so I have to be very purposeful when I read things like fiction or books in general, especially for enjoyment or for learning or whatever, because that takes a lot of focus for me not to like skip. Even now I'll find myself going, I didn't really read that sentence. Let me go back, and that still happens to me. And as a kid, I would wonder why, like every time I read the same Percy Jackson book over and over again, why I would catch something different each time. Like, oh, I didn't notice this the first time. It must be so, whatever. And I don't think it's because it was that layered. I mean, maybe it was, but I think I just didn't read it all every time. And so it was really interesting to learn that about myself, and to better myself and to really care about the things I'm reading, But like I said, I came back to reading a couple years ago. I have kind of a common story, I feel like, for people my age, is that I loved reading as a kid, and then I went to college and I had to read so much that I didn't really do it for fun. And so I kind of got out of reading, and then I graduated college, kind of got into career fields, stuff like that. And then I was like, I really loved reading. Like I really loved getting lost in a book and staying up till 3 a.m. to see what happens. I love that feeling. And I love story, I love video games. I love so much. I love music. I love songwriting. And so I was like, I really want to get back into reading. And so, I picked up audiobooks, and then I went through, and now I have a shelf full of books behind me, which is really awesome, and I'm grateful for. But was not in the plans, but it's been a blessing, and I found my love for writing, and I started writing my own novels, and I check out my weekly writing syncs I do every Monday where I talk about whatever I'm writing. And so I really fell back in love with it. But because I am a slow reader, post-college, once I picked everything back up, especially when I kind of shifted, I went into audiobooks and then shifted to physical books or, reading a page at least, which I do still love audiobooks. It's just I feel like I have more time to read them if they're physical books. So that's kind of why I elect at least to read on a page, even if it's like on my phone or an e-reader. So because I'm a slow reader, I've been more purposeful with the books that I choose to read. I really want to focus on what I love reading, and I know that kind of goes against a lot of advice that a lot of people give me, or that I've heard people say in terms of authors, like read a lot, read widely. I don't really do that, at least not right now, and I want to be better at it. But my main concern is I don't want reading to be a chore. This is something I love, and I don't want it to ever become a chore. Even if it's like being a chore doesn't mean it can't be hard, right? But I have to enjoy it and I have to choose it, right? Or that's the main thing. I have to choose it, and out of my own volition, and not because I feel like I should or that I need to. I think we all have enough things in our lives like that I don't want something that's a passion like this to get like that. Does that make sense? Yeah, I've really focused on what I've loved genre-wise. Like I said, this is probably not going to be the best thing to do to stick to forever. I do plan on branching out, but I'm really enjoying the season I'm in. And once I eventually, read more, I think I'm going to want to branch out. But right now, I'm just kind of enjoying the, sci-fi fantasy hole I've put myself in, so to speak. But even though I read slow and I take all this in really slow, it gave me the opportunity to fall in love with it again. To fall in love with reading, to find writing, like I mentioned. And I'm so happy I did, But it also feels difficult not to compare. And, you see all these booktubers that, they read, 7 books a month or 7 books a week. Some of these crazy people, man. And I don't see how you do it. I don't see how some of these people read as fast as they do. And I mean, that's great. If that's what you love and you only love books and you're going to read books constantly, that's amazing, So no shame there. If you're a fast reader, there's nothing wrong with that. I'm just not that. And so it's hard not to compare because it's not a competition, right? But I also know the more books I read, the more stories I'll be able to experience. And so I think that's what makes me want to go faster, but I also want to take my time. So that's the balance that I've been trying to figure out as a slow reader, But the main thing is it's okay if you read slowly. That's not a bad thing. I mean, maybe it means it doesn't mean your mind is slow or anything like that, or that you're not smart. That's a really bad way to think about it. We all have different strengths and weaknesses. And for me, I really have to pay attention to something to really understand it. I really have to solely focus on it. And I'm really used to multitasking and doing a lot of things. But for me to really understand something, I have to kind of just focus on it. And so reading has helped me practice that, which I've been appreciative of. Like I said, I don't want to compare to other people. There's amazing content creators out there, amazing people who read a lot more than I do, but that's them and that's not me. So, and that's okay. I will say that because I read slow, and I would say if you are also a slow reader, maybe be selective with what you read. I get that's a little bit harder because maybe you're in a book club, right? Or maybe you have a whole bunch of books on your shelf and you're like, oh, I got to get through them. And, but I would say be particular, especially if you can't read very, very many things. But just decide what you like, and if that's what you like, then own it, Everybody's going to have their own opinions on things, and I'm not saying that they're necessarily wrong, like the advice I told you before. But, I want to, like I said, I don't want reading to become a chore for me. And, the great thing about reading and taking it slow and reading slow is it's kind of an allegory for life. Sometimes things move so fast. And, a story in a book that kind of meanders a little bit is a nice change of pace. Like I said, life, we're always moving. I always feel like I have to do something. I feel bad for sitting down and resting or relaxing or doing something I enjoy. And I don't want to live like that, in reading and in life, take your time. That's, didn't mean to be dropping bars in this video, but, it is what it is. But I'm a slow reader, and I'm proud of it. I need to get a sticker or something that says "slow reader" and put it on my iPad case, is where I put all my fun stickers. But yeah, I don't have a lot more else than that. I just want to say, if you're a slow reader, drop a message in the comments, or drop a comment. I'd love to hear from you. What helps you stay consistent as a reader? What what have you learned as a slow reader? Do you like it? Do you dislike it? I'd love to hear your takes. I love comments are like my favorite thing about YouTube. Being able to interact with people and talk. It's so much fun. So that's my ramble on on being a slow reader. I hope you've enjoyed this, and I hope you check out some more of my videos, some more Mostly Vanities. I talk about book, story, video games, all the works. I already promoted myself enough, so we'll cut it there. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.